Today on Try This at Home, we're talking about something just a wee little bit different than the norm. Of course, it's kind of more the norm now, but we've done a couple videos on air compressor fittings recently, and the big reason for that is that I have an air compressor, and it's not keeping up with my needs. I've started doing a lot more sanding, a lot more body work, and use of impacts, tools that require a lot of air, a lot of CFM, so my compressor just isn't keeping up. So I got to thinking on that and thought, well, I can go down to the local store and pick up one of these compressors that claims 14, 15 CFM or so, has 5 horsepower motor for like $1,000. It doesn't seem like that horrible of a deal. But then you start really looking into things and reading reviews where it has a 1-year warranty and people say, oh yeah, it lasted a year and a half and then the motor burned up or the compressor threw a rod or different things, and it goes to show you that anymore things are built on a budget. Companies have to make profits, and that's fair enough. I mean, everybody's got to make money, but it's a shame that you can go and buy what is supposed to be a piece of professional equipment and it doesn't last. So I got to thinking, what if I bought an old compressor, something that was built years and years ago when they did build stuff to last, and even if I had to rebuild the whole thing and replace half of it, could I still keep it around the same price? Could I improve upon it, add extra features for the same or similar price? So what I've done is gone and picked up an old air compressor. So what I've purchased here is a Kellogg-American 80-gallon compressor. Now let's take a little look at it here. I've removed a few things here. It had a pressure switch and a few other little things here, and we're going to continue to remove this, replace some of this with newer, better stuff. It had an automatic tank drain connected down here that had broken off. Internally it had a rubber hose, so we removed that. I'd like to pull the plugs out and look down in, make sure the tank isn't rusty, because we certainly don't want the tank to explode on us or something when we start putting pressure on it. But this compressor came from an old flour mill. It was actually really neat getting to talk to the guy that owns the property now. He gave us some history on the property, and this compressor was apparently in use up until about 2012 when he bought the property and they stopped milling flour there. So this thing was in use quite regularly. Has a 3-phase, 3 horsepower motor, and what I believe here to be a Kellogg-American 335. Now that's not what it says down here on the model number plate. The model number plate says B325A, but as you'll notice, the pump and the rest of the color scheme doesn't really match, and it has been serviced by a local company. I called them, they didn't seem to know much about it, but obviously 2012, they may not have records going that far back. But it seems to be in quite good shape from what I can tell. If I spin this over by hand, it's not connected to the tank right now. I had to move it as pieces because it's incredibly heavy. But if I just spin the pulley by hand here a little bit, you'll notice you can hear it. So it moves air. There's a few little noises and things that I'm not sure if they're normal for a compressor this size. It is a 2-stage, and from what I understand, this pump could be run with a 3 horsepower, a 5 horsepower, or a 7.5 horsepower engine. So what we're going to be doing over this little video series is replacing this motor with a new non-3-phase, so a single-phase motor that I can run at my house. We may be trading out pulleys and things to get a ratio if we go with a bigger horsepower motor. fixing tank drains, adding regulators, filters, stuff like that. And we're also going to be trying to get some of these plugs out and inspecting the inside of the tank so that you can see what you would have to do if you wanted to go and buy an old compressor like this and bring it up to par with what a new compressor would be. So we'll also be changing the oil filter, adding a bit better drain system so it won't just pour all over the side of the tank here, and just kind of bring this thing up to par and take you along for the ride, and hopefully maybe we can all learn something in the process. So that's it for now. I'll update this, I'll release another video when we get more done on it, and hopefully you'll enjoy following the progress of getting myself a better compressor. Thanks for watching.